This is Mike and Shaun with Talking Tickets. We're talking about Ohtani 50-50 and some of our best non-ticket pickups over the years.
What's up, Mike?
What's up, Shaun?
Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you. Figure we had some it's kind of a good person to have talk a little baseball, a little Ohtani 50-50 and
Talk some baseball. Yeah, that's quite a feat. I was thinking about that when that happened, and just to think about how incredible even it is to just have 50 stolen bases in a season. You're a real speedster if you have 50 stolen bases in a season. A little bit different now since they, made the bases bigger, so stolen bases are a little more common.
right.
But 50 stolen bases in a season by itself is a remarkable season. But to have 50 home runs and 50 stolen bases, unbelievable.
Yeah, guys are freak, and I guess you kind of forget it about the bigger bases, and then they can't throw over 3 times.
Yeah,
and I was thinking somebody like Ellie De La Cruz, like, man, he's got so many stolen bases now. Can he?
Yeah.
And I was trying to do the math, like looking at Ricky Henderson's numbers, like, wow, he'd really have to steal a lot of bases. Those guys who have the records, man, there's a reason they have the records.
Yeah,
because it's just crazy the amount of numbers they would do a year just to get to that.
Yeah. Well, since they made the changes to the rules, stolen bases haven't increased. So who knows if one of the other 40-40 guys would have had it. But I say, other than Acuna last year, Ohtani is the first guy who hasn't been associated with steroids at all, because it was Canseco and Barry Bonds and Alex Rodriguez and Soriano, all steroids guys. So this is, and it's an incredible feat. I think imagine Aaron Judge stealing 50 bases.
Yeah, he's a freak. He's in this. Justin says Ohtani is the GOAT. I think he's definitely the GOAT right now. But I kind of want to jump in. I know we didn't have too much to talk about tonight, but this always caught my eye. Things always pop up in the ticket world, and I was like, okay, this Ohtani 50-50 ticket thing is kind of crazy, because we've seen where there are certain events where it's really, really hard to get a ticket. Some events where you see more than you wouldn't if it was hard to get a ticket, as in, hey, I lost my phone trick. And then you see events like this where it's like, wow, it's like a waterfall of tickets.
Yeah.
So I kind of wanted to get your thoughts. I don't know how closely you followed what's been going on with this ticket.
Yeah, I think for me, I just mostly scroll through it. When you look at eBay and you're even searching anything ticket related, you have to scroll through so many of these just to get to something that you might be interested in.
Right. So here's the ticket. I mean, it's a pretty basic ticket. It's a box office ticket. As you'll see here, typical Marlins, Dodgers, September 19, 2024. And this is actually an interesting one because it doesn't have the price, but Marlins are known, I guess, for printing tickets. And this ticket, after the game was over, or before it was even over, I think they made an announcement that you could buy whatever tickets went unsold for $25. And as you'll see on eBay, literally, I'm just scrolling, and these are all the listings on eBay. It's unbelievable. I mean, literally, I'm just it's nonstop. So I did the numbers. I think there's over like 200 listings just for that ticket. And as we've seen, some tickets that are super rare go for really expensive, like when LeBron broke the record with Kareem. You're talking thousands of dollars because tickets were somewhat pretty hard to find. You're probably talking in the dozens when it's all said and done. But this one, I mean, I don't know what the pop report will be on this, but it's going to be in the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. And as supply and demand, you take Econ 101, the demand better be insanely high for these things to hold their value. So I know, kind of, what are your thoughts on all this?
Yeah, well, it is a really important ticket, no question about it. I think that, like with cards, I think this is, you'd compare it to a card. So the the condition of it is going to be extremely important, because it has to be a 10. Otherwise, it'll be like a Ken Griffey Jr. rookie card from 89 Upper Deck. If it's not a 10, it really isn't worth a whole lot. So similar to that, I guess. Because that's assuming that Ohtani always has huge demand like he does now, which there's every reason to believe, especially on the global scale because of the international appeal. So grade is important. If you're not getting a perfect graded one, then it's probably not going to. If you're in it for the money part of it, if you just want a copy of it for your collection, then get a low grade. It should only run you $25.
Right? Yeah, when they first come out, I kind of saw this as similar with the Aaron Judge tickets, the 62, because it was kind of a similar thing where you could buy all the standing room onlys. Yeah, because the game was, I think all the seats were sold out, but there were hundreds, if not 1,000, standing room onlys. A lot of people did that, so the prices initially started really high. As you see some of these, 850 best offer, those are probably like 675, 400, 500, 300, 400. But as time goes on, they go down and down and down. And Tom made a good comment. He's like, shout out to Emily Patrick for selling them at $65, which is probably an appropriate price.
Yeah, probably.
And that's probably about right. I was thinking 50 to 100 raw. That's kind of where I would think they would end up. And if you bought them for 25 and there's dozens or if not 100 people selling them, well, you have a lot of margin to keep dropping the price. It's like, oh, I'm a price mine at 150. Well, I can go 125. I can go. Well, you're still making a huge margin at 65. I mean, you're basically over doubling your money. So it's kind of one of those things where when you're thinking about buying tickets as collectibles or a store of value, I think the supply and demand, and you always got to take that into account. No matter how big the event is, you have to think, well, are there an inordinate amount of tickets out there? And if there are, then you need to be really wary about spending quite a bit of money initially on that purchase.
And I wonder if the ticket location or price on the ticket will affect that, because I've always thought that if it's this type of situation, if it's a standing room only, far less desirable to me than if it's an actual seat in the stadium. And if it's a price ticket, like it's $25 versus comp, far more desirable to have the actual price on, because then presumably somebody bought it and they sat in a seat versus they just bought it for the purpose of reselling.
I think anything that's like 300 level, 25, or one of those ones they just went to the box office and bought a bunch of additional ones. And then there's other ones that are like 10, 50, or 100. And those are a lot more rare because you had to probably get those before the event, unless you're buying a $100 ticket after that. But it's almost like, why would you buy a $100 ticket near the end of the event when you could buy one for 25? Right. And I spoke with Matt with PSA, and he's like, they're all going to be graded as authentic, no matter what. They're not going to be, the $25 ones are collectibles. Sorry, I thought I had that posted up. So you'll see it's be like $25 right here. So anything that's $25, 300 level, almost more than likely will be ones that were purchased after it happened, where people already had their ticket and they just went and bought additionals. But if it's like 10, 50, 100, in like section 110 or something, those are a good chance those were bought before the event and they were used to get into the stadium, but they're all going to be graded the same as authentic. This one isn't going to be a collectible. So
you're saying that they won't have a number grade on them?
No, they will. I'm just saying all these $25 ones, some people are like, well, if these are the ones that were bought after it happened.
Oh, right.
And maybe they'll grade these as collectible. Well, that's not going to be the case.
Commemorative, yeah.
Right,
yeah.
Or commemorative.
Right.
But I think it would be kind of cool to find one that's not 25. That's like a 10.
Yeah.
Maybe that would be more.
I agree. I think that would be the needle in the haystack. If you could find one that's 100, 150, or whatever the expensive seats are, then that would be something that whoever purchased it probably got it before the game and probably had it for their ticket, which is almost impossible to find in this case, I bet.
Like Justin says, I thought they said they did not print tickets for the game and only agreed to print the tickets if he set the record. But man, we always know there's always people that find a way to get them printed, kind of like that. The Ohtani Trout Japan USA game, like I have one or two of those, and that was at the Lone Depot Park. And I'm assuming those people didn't go there after the fact, because I'm sure it was a sellout. So I think that, like I said, I'm not saying that people did buy those beforehand and used them, got them at the box office, the non $25 ones, but I think there's a decent chance, which would make it a little more unique. But PSA is not gonna say, oh yeah, this is a better version of your $25 ticket. So it's just kind of something I think to think about.
Yeah. The significance of the 50-50, there's also the fact that he went 6 for 6 with 3 home runs and 10 RBI.
What they call it, the greatest game of all time, or the announcer made some comment like that.
Yeah. I think that they were asking him if he was feeling any pressure prior to, on the lead up when he had 48. And I guess that answered that question. No pressure.
Yeah. I know it's going to be really interesting to see when he's in the playoffs, because if we haven't seen him in the playoffs, if he races his game kind of like he has been in other big moments, man, I'm sure the networks are dying for the Dodgers Yankees World Series. I mean, even I'd like to catch some of that.
Yeah. I would root for the Dodgers to get in, just because of but I can't stomach the Yankees in the World Series.
So do you think this ticket situation is better than them being super rare, or is it better that there's hundreds, if not 1,000 of these out there?
That's a good question. I think for ticket collecting in general, it's probably better in this scenario, because it's possible that it could spark more interest in collecting, just because people who were there, of course, thought to do that, and they maybe weren't ticket collectors in the beginning, or maybe just kind of moderate interested in it. So it's possible that this could spark more interest. But as far as the hardcore collector goes, it's much better if they're rare, because then they're desirable. I have no interest in this, even though I'm really, really impressed by the game and by the feat. But I wouldn't want one, at least more than I would pay, $25 for one, 35 maybe.
Yeah. I kind of agree with you. It's kind of goes both ways. It's funny, like, oh yeah, all the collectors finally get one. I was like, oh, what about this guy? Look at this collector.
Yeah.
He's got like 20 of them or 40 of them. Yeah. But I guess, like I said, it's $25. It's kind of hard not to, if you're at the stadium, you're like, damn, it's only 25 a ticket. Like, it's almost no matter how many they print, it's going to be at least 25, months or however long down the road. So I kind of see where they'd be coming from. Be like, oh man, I can go buy a bunch of those.
Yeah.
Other things they said, Justin said, and set the Dodgers all-time home run record for a season. First Dodger to hit 50 home runs ever.
Wow.
P Daddy G. F the Dodgers. And then people say, I wonder how the guys who paid $500 to $850 feel after seeing them now.
Yeah, that's always the risk. I never understand what the people are thinking who get in early on these. I don't know if they're collectors, or if their mindset is that they're going to flip them and make money. But why would you buy one early? Whenever there's a major, milestone or something in the modern era, just like the Caitlin Clark stuff, and it's always just insane prices the day of or the next day,
right?
And then they just kind of mellow out over time.
Well, on the flip side of that, I actually bought one of the debuts recently, which I know is kind of at a high price, which would be, actually, I have it right here. It's the Caleb Williams debut. Yeah. So I give you my thought process on why I bought this one. So basically, it's a home game, which I like it being a home game. It's just got the Bears logo on it. That whole stadium is season ticket holders, and they usually don't print. You probably have to know somebody or do the lost phone trick. So I'm thinking there's a good chance that supply could be really low for this event. And Caleb Williams could be a superstar for a franchise that's never had a superstar quarterback for basically a cornerstone franchise of the NFL. So I was like, man, if you take all those factors and he just becomes unbelievably good. I feel like it'll be a very, very desirable ticket because Bears fans are dying for a badass quarterback. And he's kind of started crappy, but I still think he's really good. So I kept the prices down. Right now, there's only one other one on eBay. It's a beat up one for $350, but there aren't any other ones. So we talk about the Ohtani 50-50. So it's kind of like making a bet. But I've also made bets in the past that didn't work out, which are kind of funny ones. Let me see if you can figure out who this is. Maybe the autograph will give it away. Oh wait, hold on, that's the wrong one. Any guesses?
I don't know.
Trey Lance debuts.
Trey Lance, yeah.
So that's the risk you take.
Yeah, that's a big risk on quarterbacks. Although it is true, it seems like somebody can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I think the entire NFL has gone digital and they won't print, with a few exceptions. So they're hard to find. But I think it's more likely that he'll be just another Bears quarterback that fails.
Right. It's like it's unbelievable. I'm like, Bears finally get a number 1 draft pick. In their history, they've been so bad.
Yeah.
Like for 40 years, you've never had a guy. They never had a 4,000-yard passer. Like you could probably name Jim McMahon's the greatest quarterback they've ever had. Like, okay, he had a few good years, and Eric Kramer, like literally those only guys that come out. Jay Cutler. I mean, it's just crazy. It's just if he would become a superstar, he would be the biggest thing in Chicago probably since Michael Jordan. But I don't think he's ever going to be that big. But you never know. Tom says Rex Grossman. Forgot about Rex Grossman. He says, as a Bears fan, I prefer my Refrigerator Perry first TD ticket stub.
Did he have more than one TD?
Oh, yeah. They started doing it, I think, at the end of the regular season and then the Super Bowl.
Oh, okay. The Super Bowl was the famous one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So kind of the flip side of all that. Another part we're going to talk about is, we talk about tickets all the time, tickets. Well, over the years, me and you have accumulated non-tickets or just non-ticket collectibles. A lot of times for me, it's part of lots that I purchased or was a package deal. And I kind of forgot about a lot of these things. I just had them stored in my closet. And I started going through them. I'm like, wow, there's some really, really cool stuff in here. Yeah. And some of the things I don't know the value. And I'm sure you have some amazing stuff. So I almost go ahead and see if you wanted to start it off and kind of show what you've accumulated over the years.
You want to go back and forth? Because I have quite a few.
All right. Yeah, we can go back and forth.
But I'll start with the programs, because one of the things that you always get with tickets when you buy a lot is a bunch of programs, right? And so I have a bunch of examples of this, and this is like 1949 Dodgers program, 48 Dodgers, and then the 47, which was Jackie's rookie year. So that kind of has some significance. And they're all in really nice shape. Another one that I got that I was part of a package that I bought was this program from 1991. It was Miami Hurricanes versus the Arkansas Razorbacks, which was the Rock's college football debut. So you don't see this one very often, but this was part of a package deal.
Yeah, I was going to say, what are your thoughts on programs?
Yeah, good question. I have a bunch of them, but I don't really know, I don't really pay attention to value or anything like that. I think that they're cool. I think that they pair with tickets really well, obviously. And there's a lot of program collectors who are also ticket collectors and vice versa. But yeah, it doesn't really, mainly because I'm a baseball guy, and it's hard to track a baseball program to the exact game versus, football. Usually they are the same. The game is identified in the program, so you can do that more with football. But with baseball, you can't really do that. It's usually a series, so you can tell. Right. It was a certain one of those games sometimes. So that's kind of why I'm not as into programs as some people, I guess. But I have a lot of them from just collecting.
got a whole stack of random stuff. Let's see if I can kind of pull out the program. So one of the cooler lots that I bought was the Texas Western game, the all black starting 5.
Mm.
And it came with like this little program and the scorecard and a lot of like, digging in here, like score sheets and notes and things like that. They're just basic pieces of paper, but I'm like, man, I like buying stuff with lots because you never know what this stuff could end up being worth, how desirable it could be. I thought that was a really cool piece. And it came with even like buttons and pins from the event. I don't know if you can really see them in here. But nice. I don't know what they're worth, but maybe one day they could be. Foreman, Ali Foreman and Zaire. I think that was part of the package I bought. I don't know how rare something like this is. This is the Brady Bledsoe program.
Yeah. I don't either. That's I've never seen one before, but is that because they're really common or is that because they're really rare? Yeah, that's a good one though.
This is the cat or the Immaculate Reception. I think it was part of a lot that I bought.
Mm-hmm.
I think this one is the the Earnhardt. Not a huge deal, but when he crashed and died.
Yeah.
Lots of programs. Giants 51. Like, this is so bad. I haven't even really like looked it up and researched it to see if this is I assume it is from the catch because I think maybe it's when I bought the ticket, or is this is 51 the is this the Bobby Thompson shot heard around the world? Is that 51?
Wait, yeah, that would be that. Did that come with that game or that ticket?
So I think that's the one. This is how bad it is. I haven't even like looked it up because it came. This was part Bobby Thompson and the pitcher when I bought the ticket sign. Pretty cool. And like, this thing in the back, like I don't even know what it is.
That's just a random ticket. Just a random ticket.
The schedule. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, it's stupid. You have these really cool things sitting in your closet, and you don't even realize, like this one, this Leitner, the shot program.
Yeah, nice.
So come on, programs. Where you at? You need to like. Get really, really popular. Back in the Dome, my favorite underrated game from the Saints. And actually, that's kind of funny. I bought this the other day. You're gonna laugh. I'm not even a Saints fan, so this is But the cool thing about this one is they've got Breeze's autograph, Gleason's autograph, and Sean Payton's autograph. Right. Nice. Like, what Saints fan on earth wouldn't want to own this?
Yeah, and you're not a Saints fan, so
I'm not, but I'm a sports history fan.
Yep.
I like that game a lot. Oh no, you got some other stuff? I still got some bunch of random things floating around.
Yeah, I've got a few more items. I have some really cool.
Hold on a second, let me click you over.
Okay, so this was a lot that I bought that had a couple 1947 Dodgers tickets in it that I wanted. And then it included a bunch of other stuff, including a lot of those programs. But it had this package of photographs, and it's like a set. And so I guess what the teams did back then is they would have photographs of all the players, and fans could buy them at the game, or they could order them to be sent in the mail. And they include like these photographs of the players, and like this is Gil Hodges, Leo DeRocher, and they're just thin paper photographs, black and white, Pee Wee Reese. But this is the big one because it was 1947, and so there was a Jackie Robinson in there. Wow. And I don't know. So I looked it up, and PSA grades these as cards. and the Jackie Robinson has, I think, 45 in the pop report. And so I don't know what the value is. I don't really know anything about it other than that, the history behind how they occurred. But so there's probably not a whole lot of them out there. And, comparing that to a Jackie Robinson rookie card is, I don't know. I don't know what the value is. I've seen a few go at auction in earlier years, but it was, maybe 1,000, 2,000. So, but obviously the grade matters a lot in this, and it's in really nice shape, except for one of the corners at the bottom is a little wrinkled. So I would say maybe a 4 or 5, but who knows? So that was one of the cool things that I got in a lot with tickets.
Very nice. Let me show you one of mine. So, this is one of my best tickets. It's the, the Lou Gehrig Luckiest Man. But part of the package, which was really cool. So when the guy bought the tickets, they sent him the tickets in the mail. So this was the guy.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's cool.
They even put in the card where it says your tickets for the game of July 4th will be ready June 3rd. It's like a little will call box office pickup. 4 seats.
Cool. Yeah.
Paid $6. And so I was like, wow, this is really cool.
And so does the seat number on that correspond with your ticket?
Well, it doesn't give you the seat number. It just says 4 will reserve seats.
Oh, I see. I see. Okay.
Seats.
Yeah. Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah. Well, I guess it says will be delivered to you by mail air, but it just says will be ready by June 3rd. So I guess maybe they mail you something and say, your tickets will be ready by June 3rd, and will be delivered to you by mail.
That's I mean, just the fact that has the date on it, and the date of the game. That's a really cool piece to go along with that ticket. I don't know if it has any value on its own, but I think it enhances the ticket by itself.
Yeah, just kind of like a double verification.
Right.
And I've showed this one before, and this is all I gotta do is put this up, and it makes Shaun happy. So of course, this is the ticket the picture from the game, LeBron's debut. And that's when that lady contacted me, the grandma of this kid, and she sent me some stuff. He's like, I got even cooler stuff for you. And that's when she sent me basically all this other random stuff, which is other pictures. Like literally, I have this kid's childhood from the picture.
Oh, nice. So did you ever try to get in touch with this kid?
No, I've never tried to get in touch with him. And, they sent him a letter. It's like verifies all this stuff.
Yeah.
Saying, the Kings want to thank you again for taking the time to participate in our Kings family photo album. Please accept the Gerald Wallace autograph ticket as a token of our appreciation, which she sent to me too.
Oh, wow.
It's autographed by Gerald Wallace.
Wow.
But you see how the tickets, I've never seen one of these where it's basically X'd out.
Yeah.
So a little ticket history right there for you.
Yeah. That's really cool. That whole collection. I don't know. I think that you need to get the kid to sign the photo.
What would Ravel do? I guess that would be the question.
I mean, he's what year was that? 2003. So he's like probably in his late 20s now or mid 20s.
Get him to autograph it.
Maybe he'll see the show. Yeah. Great collection.
Another one she gave me. That was a picture as a parking pass in the back, but yeah, that's LeBron. To say it's a type 1. So from his debut game.
Yeah.
I think he said that's worth, hundreds, if not a few low thousands or something.
Yeah. Very cool.
What, you got some other stuff?
Yeah, I have a couple. So let's see here. Bear with me on this story, but does the name Jefferson Burdick mean anything to you?
No.
Okay. Well, he was what is known as the grandfather of sports card collectors. And it was the 1930s, and he collected all kinds of the pre-war cards and had a gigantic collection. And he created the first ever card catalog that was a price guide for baseball cards, and it was 1939, and there was only 500 that he made, and here's one of the copies, and
Wow.
it's called the United States Card Collectors Catalog, but there's only 500 copies printed originally, and probably only a couple dozen actually survive today. But this was part of a lot that I bought years ago, and it had a bunch of stuff in it, some tickets too. But it had that, and then it had the second edition, which was from 1946. So the first edition, this one had a lot more copies printed, but this one is the literally the very first price guide for cards ever.
Wow. So has ever been a sale for that? What is something like that worth?
Well, I actually saw one at the National, I think 2 or 3 years ago, and I kind of wish I would have bought it, but I already had one, so I didn't. But I think it was 3,500. So
Okay.
that seems reasonable to me.
Yeah,
the thing I like is that's actually has history behind it, and it's a piece of history. That's to me that's a lot more collectible. But obviously, the demand for it is limited to the history nerds like me. So not a huge amount of demand, but I think 3,000, 3,500 for one of those at the National was probably the best thing I saw that year at any booth.
you consider like a Victor Wembanyama pink sparkle out of 5.
But Jefferson Burdick is actually the guy who created the T206 catalog and all of the names of all of the old cards, the vintage cards from the early 1900s.
Yeah.
So he created the designations for all those cards and put them in these catalogs. So it's really interesting history.
Yeah. Other things I think I bought some old Miracle on Ice stuff. I'm pretty sure these are, look at the pictures themselves. These are from like the game that they gave to me. And I think they're original. I mean, you look at them, they're like kind of rounded squares.
Yeah.
But, really cool. Like gives you a feel for like being at the event. And there's the whole stack of them. And like that was a picture, like seeing the USA Fin Gold like out in the windows.
Nice.
But yeah, I was like, man, that was really cool. And she just kind of sent me all of these pictures, just a stack of them. And it doesn't look, like I said, just the way they feel and look feels like they were made.
Yeah, taken by
in the early 80s, not something that was, recently reprinted. Have you ever gone down the Type 1 photograph rabbit hole?
I haven't. I respect them, but I just don't know enough about that space.
Yeah, it's it's something that I kind of stay in my wheelhouse. Same thing. Some people sent me some Live Aid pictures.
Why do they send you these things?
Well, I think it was part of the package. I don't know. These look like they're more reprinted out, but like from Wembley.
Yeah.
I don't think I have anything with like Queen on there, but there's some like cool random pieces. Like this is a bigger pictures, Light AFC Wembley Stadium 85.
Yeah. So what do you do with all of this stuff?
I don't know. I'll just hold on to them. Maybe one day somebody will be like, dude, you have this. It's worth so much. And I'll be like, great. Maybe do something with them now.
Yeah. Put it back up for auction somewhere.
Yeah. Do you have any other items?
Just recently I bought this lot, and again it had 1947 Dodgers tickets in it, so I wanted it, but it also included this photo album that is full of, like, let me try to open a page here because they're kind of fragile, but it's full of these autographs, and they're kind of like just postcards that have autographs from players from that era. And I guess what happened was, this was probably common practice back then, but 1940s, this boy would send letters to players and ask for their autograph. And then he would get them and he'd put them in his photo album. And sometimes it's kind of known that a lot of times players used what they call secretary autographs, where it was somebody else signing for them. So it's hard to say how authentic they are. But one of the things that he had in there was this postcard that was sent to Connie Mack, and Connie Mack actually wrote response to the kid,
Huh.
including his signature. And it was, so this is actually legit, but it's pretty cool. It was in there. Connie Mack, Hall of Fame, longtime MLB manager. So that was kind of a cool one. Another thing that I just got for the tickets, but had all kinds of autographs and stuff in it. Several Hall of Famers. I don't know how authentic they are, but just collect that stuff. You got
the dog he's protecting.
Somebody knocking on the door.
Who knows? He's crazy. When the wife isn't around, like if I leave him upstairs, he freaks out and like cries like somebody cut his ear off. So I just let him hang down here, and then every once in a while he acts a fool. I think he's about to roll in. There he is.
No big deal.
Other things I had was some more programs, some more Ali Frazier from the first fight. And I'm now thinking like maybe I should like open these up and see if there's like a random ticket.
You haven't opened them?
I don't know if I have, to be honest. Because I kind of left him in there and I didn't want to mess with him. The catch, Montana, Jordan the shot. I think some of these aren't very rare, but this one, oh baby. Look at that. Look at that eye appeal. Undertaker debut. Look at all those wrestlers.
How many
of these can you name?
Look like I can see Hulk Hogan. I know the guy with the sunglasses, but I can't think of. That's about it.
But that was when I was like, oh man, Survivor Series, Undertaker debut. But yeah, I think that's kind of all I had. This was a random one again from the Bledsoe Brady debut, their score sheet. And that was, I think, the first game after 9/11. And it had a cool little brochure, like talking about 9/11 and basically a little God Bless America. And then the back, it's the Bush and then Patriots, Jets. So, I think it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Just all these hidden gems we got laying around.
You have a lot of programs. And
yeah, I kind of liked them.
It's one thing. It does happen periodically where you open up a program and a ticket was in there that nobody even really paid attention to. So you should go through them. That's one of the first things I do when I get a program is open each page to see if there's anything else in there. Sometimes a photo.
I guess there's a chance I did back in the day, but it's almost may have been like, well, I don't want to ruin the pages, and if there is something in there great, it's not going anywhere, and I probably just would hold on to it, but maybe I should flip through them one last time.
So do you remember because I know that PSA announced that they're going to start doing magazines, but they're not necessarily doing programs, right? Do you remember what the word was on that?
I don't know. I know they're getting into that world. I assume programs would be part of it, but I haven't taken that dive yet into it.
Yeah. I think it's because programs are a lot harder to pinpoint the date. So you need more research manpower, whereas a run-of-the-mill magazine, you kind of know what it is. So
yeah,
that's easier. But who knows? It'll be interesting if PSA ever starts creating programs, and I think that they will get big fast.
Yeah, at least at a minimum, they'll get that PSA pop where people will be like, oh my gosh, they're getting into this. They're doing it.
Yeah.
People try to start speculating and getting into things. But yeah, it'd be interesting because they don't really sell programs anymore, but they have really good eye appeal, and comic books are still super popular. So I don't know. I don't know how it all would shake out.
Yeah. Yeah. Was that it? Was that all you had?
It? I don't know. We ain't got much else unless you got some things that you may have a few other pickups, or I know you're talking about your Mariners.
I don't really want to talk about the Mariners. I have a couple cards or a couple tickets that I got recently. This one is Jackie Steele's Home. This one I added to my collection. I think is my 5th Jackie Steele's Home. He stole home 19 times in his career, regular season, then once in the World Series. And this is number 5. This is a cool one too because he also hit a home run in the game. So I added that, and then this one, cool game, another baseball, vintage baseball, 1971, the Washington Senators' final game in their franchise's history before they moved to Texas. And the fans stormed the field, and they had to forfeit the game because the fans were so upset that they were leaving. So that's kind of a cool one too. 2 new tickets. You have anything new?
A few randoms maybe got sent back to me. I picked this up. You guys, one of my favorite college football modern tickets, and it's the Kick 6 Auburn, Alabama, and it was signed by the guy who returned it, Chris Davis, and it 10-10. And I got it like on a Heritage for like $250 or something. It was buried in one of those auctions. I was like, man, 7 for that usually goes for 150, 200, but 10 auto and a 10.
Nice.
That was, I thought, a great steal. I got this signed back, the Kerry Wood. We talk about Ohtani's greatest hitting performance of all time. Yeah. This may be the greatest pitching performance of all time.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it is rated as the greatest game ever pitched.
Yeah, so I got that signed and back, and it came out really well. That was nice. I picked up this random. I know these are super high supply, but if the auto looks good, and PSA will, I think we talked about this, where they will grade this crimp. If it has a crimp in it, it's going to be like a 4 or a 5, which I think is ridiculous, but Beckett will grade it really high. So to me, if the auto looks really good and the ticket looks really good, I almost would just send it to Beckett. They'll give it like an 8 or 9 with the auto 10, where PSA will give it, I think, like a 4 or 5 just because of the crimp.
Yeah, is that how they do it? Because
I'm pretty sure that's how they do it. Because I've had some amazing tickets that always come back low. And then I sent one to Beckett, and they gave it like an 8 or a 9. And I think I may have, somebody said, I've heard that before, but you see that little crimp right on the top. I'm like, man, I'd want one with a crimp. I mean, they were at the game for that. That's how they, instead of ripping the stub, they crimped it because everybody wanted to keep it.
Yeah, so it's supposed to. It's just effectively a stub instead of a full ticket.
But, I think a non-crimped perfect one will get a 10, but a perfect one with a crimp, they devalue it, which I think is weird. And I don't 100% hold me to that, but I'm pretty dang sure that's how it works. But yeah, that's really all we got. I know we got a lot of, I was like, man, I don't know if I want to do this Monday night because I love watching football, but there's like 2 games on. So I'm going to go do this and go catch the second half of them. And
just a short show. Yeah.
You can go watch your Mariners claw their way into the playoffs.
Yeah, not likely, but I'll still watch. At least there's entertaining baseball to watch this time of year.
One more thing. I worked for the Rangers. I worked for the youth academy where we coach basically youth in inner cities. They have free clinics like every night, like Monday through Thursday. And I did that for quite a while. And I did it last year. So like, hey, all employees, which they considered me an employee, gets one of the
World Series ring.
Ooh.
Wow.
How about that?
Did they have like different levels of?
Yeah, this is the very, I think, lowest of the low, but
yeah,
I'm a champion, Shaun.
Oh, that's cool. You should have told me. I have an All-Star ring from 2001 from the when I was a bat boy for the Mariners. We could wear our rings together.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. It feels like a nice school ring you would get back in the day.
Yeah.
But it feels solid, not a lot nicer than the ones they would give away at the game.
Does it look like the official one, only a smaller version?
A little bit. I think they all have their own, like the official ones have, like, they're huge and have crazy, like, I think it actually twists and changes, like really weird.
Yeah, they're getting insane, the World Series rings.
I had to go pick that up today, and I was like, oh man, this is cool.
Yeah,
Shaun's gonna be jealous.
I told you I have an All-Star ring. I could.
You need a Mariners need to make that World Series. Get that World Series ring.
Yeah. Well, I don't think that's going to happen. Not this year.
Maybe next year. Well, all right. Unless you have anything else, or anybody else has anything else, I think we cut this one a little early. You guys go watch some football. I know that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Well, all right. I'm sure in a week or two we'll be back. Follow us on YouTube. Thanks for sticking around for the whole thing for everybody that made it. And we'll do another show later. Have a good night.
See you.